Welcome back to the Burnout Diaries. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy that you found your way. And if you are returning, hey friend, hey, I am Salena, self care alchemist, wellness coach, founder of Salyana Essentials. I'm also your guide here at the Burnout Diaries. So I started the Burnout Diaries because I wanted to create a space where you could finally tell the truth about what burnout is like. So it's not the politically correct version, it's not the corporate version, it's not a productivity hack. It is the real deal. And it is about telling the story of slowly unraveling. So this episode, it is for anyone that's been in that space of where you don't know. You are experiencing fog, you're waiting, and you're in between chapters. So that in between is where it's not where you were, and it's not necessarily where you're going, but it's just that the in between space. So that's one of the hardest spaces to be in, and I found that at a phase of my life. So the stories that I've shared throughout this first season have been about that experiencing the burnout. What led to the burnout? What did I experience while enduring those different phases of the burnout? And in this episode, slowly talking about the realization that it was time to make a change. And so, just that space between the burnout experience and then the phase of needing to make the change. So, the previous episodes has been 10, and we've explored the many phases of burnout from overfunctioning, people pleasing, loss of identity, and the pressure of being the only one in the room. And baby, that only one in the room, it still blows my mind to think back to that story. And we've talked about boundaries, about emotional exhaustion, about what it really means to rest. And when I talk about rest, I'm not saying I go to sleep and I wake up, that, the sleep, that's the rest. No, I'm talking about really just being able to get so deep. And so every story came from my own journey. And it wasn't from the perspective of being a coach, it wasn't from the perspective of being a mom, but simply a woman who has lived these experiences. And I'm on the other side of that time. And so the episodes in season one, the takeaways, I have a few. So the first one is you don't need a 5-year plan to be brave. And really, it's just a matter of taking action. It's a matter of realizing that you're experiencing things that are impacting your health, and recognizing the need to make a change. The next takeaway is pausing doesn't mean that you failed. And sometimes it means you've decided to listen. So, in experiencing the burnout, it could be that you're just constantly going. You're saying no when you really want to say yes. You're moving when you know that you're really tired. And you're just ignoring the signs. You're ignoring your body screaming out. But at this point, you've decided to take a pause. And in taking that pause, you realize, like, hey, it's time for me to listen. The next takeaway is it's okay to trust yourself even when you don't know what's next. And whoo wee, when I tell you, when I stopped people pleasing, when I stopped valuing others' opinions over my own, I learned to trust myself. I learned to trust my judgment. I learned to make decisions that were based off of me and not what others expected of me, and not what others said, none of that. And that is a really, it's a good space to be in. And the last takeaway is there's power in the not knowing. So there's wisdom in the waiting. And as one that like to have control over things, that wanted to plan it all out, being in the phase, in that unknown phase part of life, that was so very challenging. But looking back on it now and knowing that there is so much power in the not knowing, it's a clean slate essentially. It truly is an opportunity to just embrace and really to be able to just go with the flow. And I would tell you that's way easier said than done, but baby, being on the other side of it and actually going through it, that was a time in my life where I just found so much value and so much peace when I stopped really just overthinking what am I supposed to do? What am I going to do? And just chose to be. And so I encourage you. I want you to reflect on this time. I encourage you to engage in this exercise that is for grounding and for peace. So tonight, I want you to place your hand over your heart like this, and I want you to take a few deep breaths. So just breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And as you're breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth, I want you to remind yourself that you don't have to figure it out all right now, and that you just need to be here. Be here. Be here. Be here with me. Be here. So again, just breathe in and breathe out. There's nothing for you to do but just honestly just be. It's been so therapeutic in sharing the Burnout Diaries over these 10 episodes. And this is the season finale, essentially. So if you've been watching the burnout episodes and you're thinking, I need to set some boundaries, or I want to feel like myself again, I want you to stay tuned because I am launching a program. It's called Burnout to Boundaries. And so it's designed primarily for high achieving women who are ready to just stop surviving and to start restoring. So it's a guided journey with practical tools. It involves coaching. It has some rituals that we do that will actually work. And it's because it's rooted in lived experience. And if you want to be a part of that experience and be in the know, so be the first to know about the program when open enrollment starts, then I want you to sign up for the mailing list. And so I have that information in the description of the video. So again, it's primarily for high achieving women, but anybody can take the course, because if you are experiencing burnout, or if you just want to learn about burnout, you want to learn about the types of burnout, this is going to be the course for you. So this is, again, it's called Burnout to Boundaries. So I'm super excited about it. And this is the final episode of the Burnout Diaries for season 1. So we'll be taking a short break to, get a couple of woosahs in as we prepare for season 2, which will start in September, I would say late September 2025. And so it'll be with a whole new chapter, one that is focused on healing, is focused on wholeness, and building a life that doesn't require you to be burnt out in order to succeed. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because I promise what's coming up next it'll be just as honest and just as nourishing as season 1. So with that, I want to express my gratitude. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. I love the comments. Thank you for sharing. This has been amazing, and I look forward to more episodes. I look forward to hearing your stories as well. If you've watched one episode or all 10, whether you've commented or you sat quietly with your words, I want you to know that your presence, it matters. It matters so much to me. And until we meet again, be well, be gentle with yourself, and trust that in between space.